If you've trained in martial arts or self-defense before, the chances are you will have seen many different techniques used to defend against wrist grabs. But what if I told you that most of them are a complete and utter waste of time? Some techniques used to defend against wrist grabs include some sort of follow-up strike, a wrist lock, or an armbar. Wrist locks and arm bars are essentially for police officers, security officers, and jiu-jitsu fighters. Don't commit yourself to an arm bar and commit yourself into a situation that you don't need to be in. The most likely scenario when you're being grabbed on the wrist is it's just somebody who might have had a few drinks and they're just being a little bit annoying. The best wrist grab defenses should be about de-escalation and staying away from violence. Also, usually in martial arts, there are different options depending on which hand grabs which wrist. So if I'm grabbed with that hand, I do one technique. But if I'm grabbed just with this hand, I do another technique. If I'm grabbed with that one, I do another technique. Okay, it's exhausting. You're never going to remember this under pressure. What we need is a technique or a process that's easy to perform, simple to remember, and works in almost any situation. So we're going to show you a 3-step process that's easy to remember and will leave you never having to worry about wrist grabs ever again. So, step 1. If somebody grabs you, just pull your hand away. You don't need a monthly membership to a martial arts class to learn to train that. If somebody grabs you, just pull your hand away. When we're pulling our hand away, grab the other arm just so I can show the camera. When you're pulling your hand away, we're aiming to pull between the gap between the thumb and the fingers here, pulling out like that. Same goes for if both hands get grabbed. The same thing applies. All I'm going to do, step 1, pull my hands away, turn my hands over and pull them out. Here, turn and pull. In most situations, that's going to work, whether it's this hand that's grabbing me, or it's this hand that's grabbing me, or it's both hands that are grabbing me. Step 1 will work in most situations. If that doesn't work, we move on to step 2. Say the guy's really strong, or maybe he's grabbing onto some clothing, for example, so I can't do step 1. All I'm going to do is strike the hand and pull away at the same time. I'm not claiming to know karate, but I think karate do something similar, this movement here. It's pushing and pulling. So you're pulling your hand away from the grab and striking at the same time. So he grabs me. This hasn't worked because he's really strong or he's grabbing onto my jacket. So all I'm going to do is strike and pull away at the same time. He uses both hands, really, really strong. All I'm going to do is strike, pull my hand back and move away. That's step 2. Step 3, if step 1 and 2 have failed you because the guy is unbelievably strong and he's got a fantastic grip on your arm. So step 1, pulling your arm away has failed. Step 2, striking and pulling your arm away has failed. Then what do? Bang! Punch the person and then pull your arm away. If he's grabbing me, there's nothing to protect his face, I'm going to hit him. If he doesn't let go of me to protect his face as I'm striking him, there's something seriously, seriously wrong. Now, the more observant martial artist will notice that there's maybe one situation where that 3-step process doesn't apply. And that's where my wrists are grabbed from this position here. So all I'm going to do from here, rather than pulling my hands straight out, because if I try to pull, I could get headbutted quite easily. So all I'm going to do in this position is just grab the attacker's wrist, applying a bit of pressure, and then pull away.
Guys, so this situation happened to me in Spain like 3-4 times in my life, and all of them, they were either drunken people or homeless people asking for something or just taking the mic. But in one of them, I committed a mistake when I was grabbed by both hands by a homeless people talking nonsense. I just panic, okay? Take some precautions just in case. So hands up, the distance, whatever we have said in other videos. But then don't try to panic, don't try to pull because you can make it worse, you break your balance. No, just, mate, leave me alone, what happened? Take it easy. And yeah, it happened to me. Even when I made a mistake, in 10 seconds I did it right and everything was fine.
Okay, so just to summarize, in this video, we've given you a 3-step process so you never have to worry about a wrist grab again. Step 1, just pull your hand away. You don't need to do a flashy technique. You don't need to strike and be violent. You don't need to do a wrist lock or an armbar. Just pull your hand away. Step 2, if you can't pull your hand away, strike first. Strike the hand while pulling. Pushing and pulling motion. Step 3, punch the attacker. If step 1 and 2 doesn't work, punch the attacker and they're going to let go. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe for more self-defense content. Thanks, everyone.